What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Project Cars 2 in the Ice Track Trials series. Now, if you don't know how this series works, basically I take 3 cars, or vehicles I should say, they're not all necessarily cars, on the Mercedes-Benz Ice Track, the second version of it, to see how they go. Sometimes they're wacky cars, sometimes they're more normal cars. We start off today with the Ford F-150 RTR. Now, this was suggested by someone in the comments, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Now, this is in the Road G category, which is the lowest category of road cars. On the first ever episode, I did the Toyota GT86. That is also in Road G, so this car is in the same category as that. Now, of course, this is it's more suited for a track like this than that Toyota, for example, and a lot of the things on this series, to be honest. I mean, this series is mostly kind of wacky cars, so this is something a little bit more normal. Not the most powerful thing in the world, as you expect, and also I believe quite heavy, as it's a big four-wheel drive kind of ute thing. So it's pretty heavy. It's not very powerful. However, it is kind of designed for this sort of thing. And that's where I thought this Ford F-150 could make up a bit of time. Now, through the corners it was not a problem at all, not even really too much understeer. Now and again I would go wide into a couple of corners, but it wasn't too bad. Getting on the power, which is the thing that is really hard in this series most of the time. You know, you get on a power in some of the crazy race cars or some of the, you know, the high performance road cars, like hypercars and stuff, and the car just spins, it just slides everywhere. Not an issue with this car. One, it's four-wheel drive, so that really helps it out, and two, it doesn't really have enough power to get it sliding like crazy. So yeah, I could really get a good run out of this car. I feel like the run with this car was pretty decent. I mean, it's not, you know, this series with the sort of track it is, which how the series works, you're never going to get a perfect run with all these cars. So, you know, I try and get the best possible run I can. I think it took me 1, maybe 2 tries with this car to get a perfect good run. But when I was done with it, I was pretty happy with it. Altogether, the Ford F-150 was pretty nice to drive. Haven't driven it in this game before, so this is my first experience with it. And I mean, this is more of the terrain you'd expect this car to be driving in, you know, rather than an actual racetrack. So we go across the line, flying off the course, and that is that run done. Now, the second car I decided to go for was the Jaguar F-Type SVR Coupe. Now, this car wasn't suggested in the comments, however I was thinking of another car to do for the series, and I saw this and thought, you know, I might give this a shot, because if you guys watched the Grand Tour, which is Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond and James May's new show, kind of their thing after Top Gear went to crap for them, they are using this car, the Jaguar F-Type. I don't know if it's the SVR, it might just be a normal F-Type. However, they are using a Jaguar F-Type as their kind of celebrity car. So when they do this thing called Celebrity Face Off, they get 2 celebrities, they go around this track, see who can go quickest. That track has a bit of on-road, it also has a little bit of off-road, and they've decided to use the F-Type. I thought it would be cool to see how this F-Type would do on this course, because, you know, this is a full-on snow course. So yeah, how would it do? And, you know, surprisingly it actually did pretty well. I mean, considering this car has over 500 horsepower, it's rear-wheel drive, you know, it's not exactly made for these sort of conditions. It actually did pretty well. You could really throw this car around the corners quite a lot without having too many problems. Of course, you had to be careful on the power. With any rear-wheel drive car, you really do. Even the less powerful rear-wheel drive cars, you have to be careful. You know, you put the power down a bit too much, and the car will just veer to one side. You'll lose a lot of time, so you really do have to be careful with it. However, altogether, the Jaguar F-Type was actually really fun. Probably my funnest, the funnest road car I've driven on this course thus far. This is in, I believe it's in Road D class. So we're like 3 groups up from the Ford. So it's quite a bit quicker than that. So yeah, altogether the Jaguar F-Type SVR, really fun car to drive. I love the Jaguar F-Type anyway. Whenever, you know, from when it was originally launched, originally announced, I love the look of it. I love this car. I really do love the Jaguar F-Types. They're just such a cool car. So to drive it around this icy, snowy course was definitely an experience as we go flying across the line. And then our final car for today is the Formula X. Now, this was also a car that was suggested by someone in the comments, and well, this is definitely our most ridiculous car of the episode. Now, I've done one other Formula vehicle on this game before. I did the Formula Renault 3.5, which I believe is a less powerful car than this, so really this Formula X is pretty much as fast as you're gonna get when it comes to Formula cars, at least in Project Cars 2 and probably most other racing games. It's a pretty bloody quick thing around a course. If you don't remember, when I first started making Project Cars 2 videos, when the game first came out, I did Formula X cars around rallycross circuits. I basically did some rallycross with these Formula X vehicles with some AI. And well, that was kind of crazy, a little bit. It was really fun actually. You know, the car actually it really didn't do too bad. It coped with the surfaces actually reasonably well. However, when we come onto the snow and the ice, it's a little bit different. You know, it still copes with it pretty decent. I mean, it's not terrible. However, God, putting the power down in this thing is scary. You really need to be careful putting the power down. I was trying to short shift. You don't really have to shift too much around this track. I kind of stay in one gear for most of the track, like in second or third gear. When it comes to a really tight corner, I'll put it into first. But really, I figured on this course, you don't want to go too high up the revs because you know, you don't want to, especially with cars with turbo lag, because it really throws the car off. So I like to keep the cars in a bit of a higher gear than I suppose you'd expect, just so that you can kind of have a bit more traction with it. So in that aspect, it wasn't too bad. But when I did get to a little bit of a straight where I could put the power down a bit, it did try and kick out. It really did. There were a few points through this run where the car did kick out a little bit. It was a bit scary. It took me probably about 4 or 5 runs to get a good run out of this car. As we go around the final corner here, I put the power down a bit too soon. However, we do still get over the line, slightly smashing that sign out of the way. But there we go. That's it for the Formula X. Now we get on to the times, and the Jaguar F-Type SVR is the quickest of today, getting into 5th place with a 2 minutes 1.485. Yeah, that F-Type was pretty damn good. It's just nice to drive, and it is, I believe, the quickest rear-wheel drive car we've had on this series so far. Next up, in 7th place, we have the Formula X with a 2 minutes 3.543. Yeah, I mean, it goes slower than the Renault 3.5, which on a normal racetrack, pretty damn certain the Formula X would go quicker. However, on this, it's just a bit too much power. It's a bit too crazy for this course, so the Renault does deal with it a little bit better. And then in 10th place, we have the Ford F-150 RTR with a 2 minutes 4.296. Kind of interesting to see kind of the most normal car, the car that you'd expect the most on this course, to be down at the bottom of today's list. However, yeah, it is just a much slower car than all the others, so because of that it is down in 10th place, but it does beat the Toyota GT86, which is in the same class as it, by well over about 1.5 seconds. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Comment what other cars you'd like to see go on the Ice Track Trials track, and I'll see you guys in the next video.